Welcome to EN5002 Psycholinguistics. This is an introduction to the module and should provide you with all the information you need to get started. What is psycholinguistics? Psycholinguistics is the study of language and the mind. We look at how language functions from a psychological perspective. During this module, we will consider the structure and processes which underlie a human's ability to produce and understand language. This is a huge topic, and over the term we will touch on various aspects of it to give you an overview of the field. First, though, a few administrative details about the course. From week 2 onwards, there will be a lecture every Monday from 2 to 3 p.m. in JG 5006 and a follow-up seminar on Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. in JG 5007. There is no lecture or seminar in the first week, and instead you should complete the online tasks and bring them to the reading group session on Friday. These reading group sessions on Fridays will happen roughly every 2 weeks. In teaching blocks 1, they will be held in weeks 1, 3, 5, 9 and 11. They are an opportunity to explore some of the topics in more depth, and we will also use the time for assessment tutorials before each part of the scene test. Here are the details of the tutors you will work with over the course of the module. Paul Booth is the module leader. If you have any questions or worries about the module, you should contact Paul in the first instance. Paul will do the majority of teaching in the second teaching block after Christmas. The first teaching block will be taught by me, Kate Scott. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. You can email me, and you can also contact me via Twitter on @DrKJScott. We hope that this module sparks your interest in the psychological side of language, and we want you to get the most out of the module. Here are a few tips to help you do this. Make sure you attend all lectures, seminars and reading groups. Learning is much more effective and fun when it takes place in a social context. Reading lecture notes at home is no substitute for discussing and debating the issues with your tutors and peers. If for some unavoidable reason you are unable to attend a class, please let us know. We will be able to advise you on what you need to do to catch up so that you don't fall behind. It is also really important that you complete all of the preparatory reading before each session. Sometimes we might ask you to complete some exercises before a class, and again it is very important that you do so. Coming to class unprepared is not much better than not coming at all. We want you to succeed in this module, and the materials have been designed to help you to do this. Preparation also means that you will get informal feedback on your progress throughout the module. This will be invaluable when it comes to the assessments. If you don't understand something, please ask. You can do this during the class by sticking up your hand, or you can tweet a question to me, Kate, using @DrKJScott and using the hashtag EN5002. You can also use Twitter to share anything you see in the media about language and language learning. Again, use the hashtag EN5002 and keep an eye out for what other people are tweeting. You can also bring any examples to seminars. We want to hear about your experiences with language and language learning. If you have children, brothers or sisters, nieces or nephews who are very young, you might want to start listening to what they say. What mistakes do they make, for example? How is their language different to adult language? Examples from real life are always more interesting than those in the textbooks. Now moving on to assessment. The module runs throughout the year and you will be assessed in both teaching blocks. In teaching block 1, we will focus on first language acquisition and language in the brain. This will be assessed via an in-class scene test, which will take place in 2 parts. You must sit both parts of the test. These will take place in class time during the lecture in weeks 7 and 12. You will have the questions in advance and you will be able to take a short essay plan into the test with you. The questions will be made available via Study Space in weeks 2 and 7. We will have special revision sessions focused on each test, and you can also arrange a one-to-one tutorial in the week before each part of the test.
For the assessment in Teaching Block 2, you will have 2 options. The first option is a language learning project, which is informed by your diary and your language learning from KLS, which is Kingston Language Scheme, so you'll be able to link the theory to your own language learning experiences. Alternatively, you can conduct a word association experiment, which you will design, execute and write up in relation to word association models, literature and debates. We would expect the experiment to be related to second language.
Now we turn our attention to the content on the course, starting with Teaching Block 1. During the first teaching block, and starting with the first week's tasks, we will look at two interrelated topics: language development in children and language and the brain. The first part of the test will focus on language development, and the second half will focus on language and the brain. For each part of the test, you will answer one question, and the questions will be available in weeks 2 and 7. This slide shows the outline for the first teaching block. This is also available with more detail and recommended reading in the module guide. There is no lecture this week, but you should complete the week 1 tasks on Study Space and attend the reading group session on Friday. Next week we will have the first lecture, where we will start to think about how children learn their first language or languages. Over the next few weeks we will think about the difference between learning and acquiring language, and we'll view first language acquisition as a biological process. In week 5 we will have a revision session to prepare for the test after enrichment week. In week 8 we begin our exploration of language and the mind. We will look at language pathologies, that is when something goes wrong with language, and we'll think about what that tells us about language more generally. We'll then look at the development of our pragmatic abilities, and we'll think about what it means to have a theory of mind. In week 10 we will compare human language with animal communication. Week 11 will be a revision session on this second topic before the second part of the test in week 12. The schedule for the reading groups is as follows. This week we will work through the introductory tasks. Then in week 3 we will talk about the father of linguistics who changed the way people think about first language acquisition, Noam Chomsky. Week 5 is set aside for assessment tutorials. In week 9 we will think more about theory of mind and mind blindness and issues relating to autism and language. And then there are more tutorials scheduled for week 11. There are many books and articles which are relevant to the topic of language acquisition. A full bibliography is available in the module guide. The key text will be this one, The Articulate Mammal by Jean Aitchison. There are various editions available both for sale and in the library. The second edition is only 1p on Amazon, or you can splash out around £6 for a more up-to-date edition. In Teaching Block 2, we will turn our attention to second language acquisition.
The themes of the second teaching block are bilingualism, which describes how children grow up with 2 languages, and second language acquisition, which is about how adults acquire a second language. Both are related, but bilingualism is usually related to the child's cognitive development, whereas in second language acquisition, the adult is already cognitively mature and the first language is fully developed. So bilingualism and second language acquisition feed into the assignment, either a language learning project or a word association experiment. You will have the space to discuss your initial ideas on what you will do for the project or the experiment. I will show you how to write up and show you how to present your data graphically via Excel. You will also have the opportunity to see the previous cohort's assignments in relation to the grading criteria. So for Teaching Block 2, in the first part, we will look at bilingualism and how lexis is variable and how grammar develops from simple to complex. We then go on to explore how bilinguals develop metalinguistic knowledge and how analysis and control are shaped by mono and bilingualism. Then we move on to second language acquisition in adults. Firstly, we look at the language development patterns. Then we look at the cognitive processes behind language development. The next week concentrates on the assignment, and gives you a chance to discuss how you approach the assignment. The focus then moves to how words are stored in the mind. Clarissa will explore insights into the mental lexicon with you. Following on, we will look at how words are connected and how this relates to grammar in the first and second language. So far, we have assumed that learners are similar. However, we go on to discuss individual differences in language learning. Then we will look at how words are processed when reading in a second language and what factors affect these processes. Finally, you'll have the opportunity to go over areas which you want to spend more time on. So, key reading for Teaching Block 2. The book by Bialystok is available online through our library, so you will always have access to a copy. The book on second language acquisition is by Savor Troik and gives you a gentle introduction to this topic. For the word association experiment, there will be articles given out and book chapters recommended that will help you with your reading on this topic.
And now it's time to get started. Before the first reading group on Friday, you should work through the tasks on Study Space. On Study Space, you will find a documentary called Why Do We Talk? This is in 6 parts. Each part is about 10 minutes each. You should watch this documentary and answer the questions on the accompanying worksheet. Bring the completed worksheet to the reading group session on Friday the 3rd of October and be ready to discuss your answers with the group. From week 2, lectures will take place on Mondays as normal. Good luck with the tasks and see you in class on Friday.